Hey everyone, I'm Jeff Whelan, the host of the WB Download, and I want to invite you and welcome you to our podcast. My brother and I own and operate Whelan Builders. It's a custom home building company here in Southwest Ohio. The WB Download mostly focuses on interviewing folks associated with custom building. We stray now and then to interview people who I think are interesting and to break up the monotony of the same old podcast. I also like to highlight things that are going on in my everyday life along with our businesses. I started this podcast to help people understand the custom builder world, but to also give people a chance to hear what others have to say and highlight their expertise and experiences in life. We drop on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month with a new topic and or guest each time. I hope you join us here on the WB Download and enjoy listening and hearing stories of people in and out of the custom builder world. Welcome to the WB Download. Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome to the WB Download. Today is Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025. And, man, I hope everybody's had a great summer and continues to have a great summer because, like I said, I think I've said this before. I always forget about August, September, October included in the summer because I think about summer, it's like June, July, a little bit of May. And then I start thinking about days getting shorter, temperature getting cooler, and man, I just don't even want to see it go away. So here we are in August. August is a big month for birthdays and kind of wrapping up the summer, and we're heading into school and getting started with kids' sports and doing a lot of different things. So I don't always love to see it here, but at the same time, like I said, I give myself a little bit of relaxation about summer being here because we're going to take it on through October. I can remember sweating at people's weddings in October. So today's guest on the show is our very own Pam Carr from KBR Cabinetry, and they do KBR countertops. And I've known Pam for a long time, because she's been in the business for a long time, as long as I have, if not longer. And she's been in the cabinetry business for a long time. She is an unbelievable designer. She's great with customers, understands things. When we talk about cabinetry, and you'll hear us talk about this today, what makes a great cabinet, what makes this, cabinets are cabinets, and there's different qualities and features that you can go through with all of them. But what makes or breaks your kitchen and your cabinetry experience and everything that you do is the designer. The person who's designing these cabinets needs to know they have to have so much experience in the field, in the design area. But they have to see how things work and understand how cabinets are going to come together. So many things, and Pam is fabulous at it. The other thing that I would say is, like I've said about other people that are on our team, is that she's not there to sell you cabinets. She's there to design one of the biggest portions of your house, which is the cabinetry and the stone, but is also the kitchen, the entertainment area, the bathrooms, the things that you use every single day. And she's there to design those with you, with our designers, with our plumbing company, with our lighting company, with our flooring company, and working all together to pull all of that stuff in and making sure that your house is flowing and it's going in the direction that you want it to. It's not going, here's your choices and tell me which one you like. There's just a lot of different things that she does that, man, there's so many things that she does that I don't know that she does. I just expect it, I guess. And she just does a great job. So I'm excited to have her on here today. I hope you guys are excited to listen to her and go down through it. I just can't thank her enough for all that she does because it's a tough job. She's like a major league pitcher in a baseball team. When things go right, it's like, yeah, that's great. We'll forget about it the next day. When things go wrong, we're like, oh my gosh, this is horrible having to deal with this. So she's got a very, very important role. So I can't wait for you guys to listen to what she has to say, and I can't thank her enough for taking time out of her day to come here and be on the show with us. In August also is a big birthday month, like I said, and just yesterday was my mom's birthday. I don't know if she wants me to tell everybody how old she is, but she's creeping up on a big one, and we've got big plans for my mom. But happy birthday to my mom. I love you, and I'm glad we got to celebrate together. my sister-in-law, Monica. It's her birthday in August as well. And make sure if you see her out, you wish her a happy birthday. There is a special birthday in the beginning of August that my friend Tracy Smith, it's her birthday. It's like five other people's birthdays. And one of them was a significant friend of ours who passed away years ago. So we always remember their birthday on that day. So August is a big day. The kids and I and Shannon, we creeped up to the state fair last weekend, 2 weekends ago. We wanted to see the final drive for the big steer show and see who won that thing. And the state fair it's chaos. I spent so many years at the state fairgrounds in Columbus and spent them in the barns, whether we're at different shows or whatever we're doing, and didn't realize there was such a big other thing going on out there, which is the fair. I'm comfortable in the barn. I'm uncomfortable with all those people out there. It's crazy. It gets a lot of people going on, but it was a good show, and it's neat to see my kids really interested in what's going on out there and setting their goals at that level of those people who are in the championship drive. So we're already looking for our animals, our projects for next year. We are pulling some calves out of the field next week to wean them from their mothers, and we've got one really good one in there that we know that we're going to keep on the show circuit. And we're also sitting down and we're looking and planning at shows that we want to go through over the next 6-8 months leading up to our county fair for next year. So I'm really excited about their excitement in this thing, and the things that we talk about and the conversations that we have and their desire to do more with that. It's something I always wanted, but I didn't want to push it on them, but they're doing it. And so it's pretty neat. Cody is busy as can be with football and baseball. They as soon as they got out of school last year, they started in football and they haven't stopped. So now they're in 2-a-days, and then they're leading up to their first game coming up here shortly. And he also made a huge baseball team called, it's sponsored by Panel Barn Lumber. It's on the west side of town. And I mean, these guys, you see a lot of coaches. I did a lot of coaching in my time, and I'm an organizer and a disciplinarian when it comes to coaching. But when it comes to the mechanics and the specifics of the game and the body functions that it takes to play a sport, I've never seen anything like it with these guys from Panel Barn. I mean, it's amazing. And plus the guys that Cody's been training with on the side. So we're really excited to see him go over there and finally get coached and play some really good baseball. Raina is cheering on both sideline for the football team, and she also is in her competition cheer, which is like that little travel thing that they do. And she's entrenched in it, but she's fired up about showing these cattle. So I'm interested to see what decisions she makes here in the next several months on them things. So we've made some incredible progress on some jobs. We've been fortunate in Southwest Ohio here to have a lot of rain this year, and I say fortunate because I'm a little bit greedy on the rain side because I need it for our pastures on the farm, but we also need it on the jobs. I mean, it's not good all the time to have dry weather and soil just sitting there and things just drying out. It's been helpful in that, but it's also been a mess. I mean, everything that we do is a mess all the time. Street cleaning your shoes off, cleaning all the equipment off, keeping things clean on the inside of the house. That's the flip side of it. But we've made some really, really good progress. And I've talked to my Builder 20 group about this for 10 years now, and talking about getting the right people and getting the people in this company, both trade suppliers and our employees. And I always felt like it was never going to get there. It's never going to get there. And right now we have a team of people here at Wheel and Builders who are incredible. They are so passionate about what they do. They're driven for this team. They're excited about things that they're doing all the time. They're coming to me with ideas, something I've always dreamed of. And I'm so excited to watch them do their thing and just work hard and be aggressive. And I'm in all of them all the time. So when they do things, I'm just like, man, you guys are so badass. I love it. It's so cool. So we've had a lot of people say all the time, are you busy? Are you busy? And we're like, yeah, we're busy. And I talk to my other buddies and say, hey, you keeping busy? Yeah, we're keeping busy. Well, we've been super busy, in the field. And then, we always look at what's going to happen a year from now, 2 years from now. What's it look like? What's the pipeline look like? What are our jobs going to look like? How can we lay these things out? And we're talking about, as I record this, we're talking about, coming out of our, one of our Friday, production meetings and timing meetings and with the guys, and we are listing level of importance for different trades to say, here's where we need you, here's where we need you. Things are so busy, but then we're also looking at what's happening coming up in the future. And we've got some really cool people that we've met with in the last several months that we're designing homes for, that we're trying to get contracts signed with, and plus the people that we're building with. I mean, it's just, man, I feel like I'm so blessed to have this in front of us and have this team to work with. So I'm pretty excited about it. So I have a note that I was going to talk about new headaches and old headaches, new positives and some new negatives. I think that positivity is something that you can't be blinded by. But I feel really good about things, and we're on the hustle every single day, working through a lot of good things, and we've got a lot of customers that we're talking to and we're dealing with who are part of our team, and they understand that, and so it's a machine that's rolling on. It's not like it's a machine and somebody else is standing out there, complaining about how it's running. It's a machine, and we're all working, customers included, and I think it's going really well. So I'm fired up about everything we got going on, and these guys that are the employees of Wheel & Builders. I'm just in awe of them. So they're really killing it, and I'm grateful for each one of them. So without further ado, and me dragging on and blabbing any further, let's turn it over to Pam Carr. This interview is going to be really cool. It's going to be informative, and I hope you guys enjoy it and that you dig deeper into the cabinets and the cabinets that you have at your house, or the cabinets you're thinking about having, or any of our customers that are out there thinking about what we're talking about moving forward with your home and the decisions that you're going to make. So anyway, hey, today, Pam Carr, KBR Cabinetry and Countertops. Thanks for being here, and here she is. All right, everybody. Today on the show, as we said, we have Pam Carr from KBR, which is our cabinet and countertop design company. Pam, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you're here. Hey, you and I have known each other for a really, really long time.
Yes.
Most of it comes from after tabletop night, after Christmas luncheons and golf outings and drinking beer and hanging out. And we didn't really do a lot of business together, but until you were at KBR, but we've been around each other for a long time. You're in the cabinet business. You've been in the cabinet business a long time. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I've been in the cabinet business since 1996. I'm
nice.
Old, but
we all are.
Sold various brands, different kinds of cabinets. Love to do it. Love to make people happy.
Cabinets are fun.
They are.
And I think it does bring us. For us, it's one of the biggest numbers on the cost sheet anymore. It's one of the biggest contributing factors to the design of the house, and you're playing a big part in that. How long have you been at KBR?
I've been there 3 years in August.
Yeah. Where'd you get started at? What made you say, I'm gonna, instead of being a chef, you're gonna be a cabinet dealer?
I don't know what made me say that, but one day I was working a home and garden show and saw Western building products across the way from me, and decided that maybe cabinets would be better than what I was doing at the time. So
yeah. What year was that?
96.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Western, and that was Western Home Center. And so when I was a little kid, and this, my dad bought everything from Western Home Center, and so I was running in and out of those doors forever, and I think that's where you and I met when you were there. I obviously didn't have a very good experience with that family later on in life, but I don't think you did either. But here we are. So so let's talk about KBR. They've been in business since 1978.
Yes,
and they're obviously one of our big partners. That things that we do with you. How did that company get its start, and what was their driving factor?
Well, they started way back on 8th Street down under the viaduct. And I remember even when I was at another place that I was still getting countertops from them even back then. So I feel like I've been buying from them forever. And
did they always sell cabinets, or did they always just do countertops?
They did not. So they got into the RTA business, ready to assemble cabinets.
Okay.
probably about 6 years ago.
And that's like a cabinet that comes all folded down into a thin box, and then when it gets here, then you guys just kind of put it together. Yeah.
Exactly. Box it back up and ship it out ready to go. But
some builders in this world would call that custom, and it's not.
It's not. It is really assembled in America.
Assembled in America. That's good. That's good.
So I think they wanted to expand their horizons and get more into the cabinet business. And I just had an opportunity where I started talking to Brad and Lindsay, who are the second generation owners. And it just came down to, why don't you just bring your cabinet business down here?
Yeah.
So it all worked out, and I moved all my stuff just down to their showroom, and it's been going good ever since.
I mean, I was surprised that when we took a tour down there, you know, and I don't know, it's so hard to understand, because one of the things that happens in the granite business, I think, or the countertop business right now, is you drive down the road, and it reminds me of the vinyl siding business back in the day. Like, everybody's doing it.
Right.
And you go through Indian Hill, and there's a guy that's selling granite on the side of the road.
Yeah.
And people don't understand how particular and how exact everything has to be. And it's not just the selection, right?
Right. No.
So I was really surprised when we went down there and took the tour of KBR and saw that. I mean, it's just, they have so many different blades and so many different things, cutting and tables and all these different things. I mean, it's amazing. That's a big company.
It's a big company, yeah.
And it's
a
lot of
small
business.
company, but it's a big company. It does a lot.
Yeah, 100%. It's a small company, but it's I mean, you get in that shop back there and see all those tables. It's a big, it's a big production.
It's a big operation for sure.
So what's the most important thing when it comes to countertops, let's say?
I mean, a lot of things, you know, with everybody doing humongous islands and just different things like that, and nobody wanting seams, you really have to be cautious of the material you're using and how big a piece can be and stuff like that. So I feel like that's one of the big things as a designer that is very important. And we take a lot of that stuff into consideration when we're making tops, that the seams line up or the veins line up if we have to seam it, or if you're going up the backsplash, they all line up.
Yeah.
You know, those are things that people don't think about, that it takes some time to shift it on a slab, or, you know, make it so to where it looks right.
Right.
And it's a tedious process. And
very tedious.
We just got a new camera in that's going to change the world.
But I mean, backing up a little bit. So let's go back through the hit, because I was just getting ready to talk about quartz and granite. But I mean, think about where we came from. You know, we used to do Formica tops, and we would do cultured marble in the bathrooms.
Yep.
And in fact, a lot of times, if it was too big for a cultured marble, we would just do Formica in the bathroom.
In the bathroom,
and
yes.
That was like, and then the big upgrade was, what kind of edge you going to do on it? You know, are you going to do a beveled edge?
Yeah.
You can do a round edge, standard round edge, or you can do a square edge. And then it started getting into more granite.
Yes.
Right. I mean, am I tracking right?
No, you are. Well, Corian.
And that's right. I forgot about Corian.
Came in there in the middle of it. But
and I love that stuff, but it was short lived.
It was short lived. It's still sometimes used in commercial stuff, but yeah, it's very short lived.
I liked it because you talk about seams, when you would put that stuff in, they would come out there, put it all together, and then they would basically Bondo it and then sand it down, and you would never see a seam in it.
Yep.
It was slick and smooth.
Were all...
But I think it was like Formica's the same way. You had to be really, really careful what you put on it.
Exactly.
It would burn. It would stain.
It would stain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went into granite.
Yes.
And I always think, what was the base, the black base?
Oh, Ubatuba.
Ubatuba.
Yep.
Everybody loved Ubatuba. And
Still
so
around.
and so, but with granite, you have to. I think picking granite is like one of the worst times ever, because it's so difficult, because it's so cool.
It is.
And you look at one, and then you see another one, and then you see another one, and then, you know, you have to be at the place where you're going to pick the granite out, and those people have to be there with you, because they have to move the slabs. You have to pick the exact slabs that you want.
Same lot.
Yep. Same lot, same everything. And I mean, I remember when I was doing our office, I'd go over there and take pictures, and then I'd come back and I'd look at them, and I'd take pictures, and I'd come back and look at them, and then back and forth. I probably had the whole warehouse on hold, and they're like, listen, get out. We don't want you here anymore. Don't come back.
Something.
So now it's more quartz, right?
Yes.
What's the difference between granite and quartz?
Quartz is man-made, so it's a little more consistent color and stuff like that. Granite is mined from the ground, so one's a rock and one's not.
Yeah.
So porous, non-porous, lots of variations. I think the reason that quartz is so popular is the consistency of the pattern and the color, and it's readily available. bigger slabs,
Yeah.
different things like that. So.
I see that a lot. Like when you're talking about the slab, I mean, the biggest slab you can get is usually around like 10 and a half, 11 feet, right?
Well, they're getting bigger now.
And
Yes,
I mean, for granite, like when you're
granite,
looking
correct,
at a granite
yes.
slab. So then when people say quartz, that you can see it doesn't have that wide variation in it, the fissures and things. And then you go with this quartz and it's like white countertops,
Yep.
huge countertops and
Gray.
to the point where, I mean, something you don't think about is that I was telling somebody this the other day, we have to make sure that we are adjusting the structure of the floor to support all these appliances in the kitchen. Yeah. And I mean, you think about if you put one of them 60-inch ovens in there and then you put this 12, 14-foot island in there, you think about how much weight that is sitting on there.
72-inch refrigerator.
Yeah, 72-inch refrigerator. I mean, this is insanity.
It is.
How much that stuff weighs. So you got to make sure that you don't have just somebody's draftsman sitting in their office going, that'll be good. Yeah. I mean, you got to make sure it's all structured.
There, yeah.
Yeah. How much do you pay attention to those kind of things when I always talk about, you're one of our partners. So when we send a customer down to you and we trust you 100%, but you're not just going in there going, yep, okay, is that what you want? And you're writing it down. You're a design artist for these cabinets. You're a design artist for kitchens, for bathrooms. You understand how things work. How much of that do you take into consideration when you're sitting there meeting with a customer going, well, this doesn't flow, this doesn't flow, this doesn't flow?
Yeah, I take it in consideration a lot because I am also a cook. So I know how a kitchen kind of works and just different things like that. So it's functionally it has to be beautiful, but function comes first in my eyes.
Do you still use that triangle 12? Does anybody use that anymore?
Not really, because I don't feel like that there's a bunch of people, there's more cooks than just two or one anymore. Or when you're entertaining, that triangle kind of gets crowded if you're working in that little space.
Right.
So
what makes so again, I'm just going to keep jumping around and asking you questions because I feel like I'm getting into it now. We're feeling good about that. Let's go. So when you I think about you and the job that you're doing and the details that people so somebody could say, I took an online course and I know how to draw a kitchen, and I'm like, I guarantee you don't, because you don't understand fillers, you don't understand casings that pop off of walls, you don't understand door swings, you don't understand how different cabinets come together. Not just like how somebody's going to use pots and pans, use an oven, use a sink, but you have to understand the functionality of the cabinet itself. Mm-hmm. How much can somebody just learn about that, and how much is experience? I mean, I imagine it's probably a lot like my job.
It's mostly experience. It just, you learn something new every single day because you work with clients and, everybody has a different challenge or everybody has a different opinion, and sometimes they're good ones and sometimes they're not. So I feel like it's still it's a conglomeration of a bunch of different things of how they see it and how I see it.
What makes a great cabinet?
I always joke it's a great trim carpenter, but no, I'm just kidding.
That's not. You know what? That's true. That's 100% true, because we always focus on the labor around here, and we talk about the type of cabinet we're using, the type of window we're using. Well, it doesn't do you any good to use that great stuff if you have somebody who sucks at installing it, and that'll ruin it. That'll absolutely ruin it. But in the details, so when people talk about the quality of a cabinet, and how does somebody look at a cabinet and go, that cabinet is not quality?
Well, it's, once you put countertops on, it's hard to tell if it's all plywood, if it's not. To me, it's the working function of the cabinet. It's more the drawer slide or the door hinge or something like that, or what's in it, what's going to make it more functional for me. It's not necessarily what the box is constructed of, because sometimes all wood, you know how it reacts to moisture and stuff like that. Or if you spill spaghetti sauce, you don't necessarily have to have a wood interior on a cabinet. Yeah. So to me, it's all about in the function of it. How does it work once I'm in there using it, as opposed to it is built like a tank. Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, what do you look? Because I used to be, when we were building neighborhood houses long years and years and years ago, people say, "Does your cabinet made of plywood sides?" And I'm like, why do you care? Exactly. Did some other builder said our cabinet's got all plywood sides on it? And I'm like, and that I don't understand where that came from. I think it was back in the day when cherry was really popular, and you had the the skin that they just stuck on it that didn't age like the front of it.
Right.
And that's where plywood sides became like, oh my gosh, I have to have a wood side.
I had a person tell me one time that if they had a flood, that the plywood sides would hold up better than the particle board. And I'm like, you got some serious problems there. If you're designing your cabinets around your house flooding, we've got a problem. This is not good. So that's next to the person who, when I asked them, I said, what does custom mean to you? And they said, talking about their house, and they said, stainless steel appliances. And I'm like, that does not qualify.
No.
And you are not our customer. So, so I think about, you can look at a cabinet and I feel horrible because I go into people's houses and they're so proud of it. And they're like, we built a custom house, and look at this beautiful kitchen. I walk in and I'm like, oh man, did you buy this at Lowe's, or what did you do?
It's that shiny finish,
but I'm like, oh, this looks so good.
Yeah.
But you can see the panels on the doors. You can see that whoever designed it was like, we're going to do a 12, a 14 of, and they're just not thinking about the ultimate look of this cabinet. But you can also look at the hood and see what that is. But when you shut that door, if it rattles, that drives me insane.
Yep. Center panel.
Yeah, you can just tell it looks like if it was painted by with like an enamel or an oil base or whatever it was. There's so many things like that. But I really I'm with you. The install is really important, but the design of it. So what's the difference between a standard cabinet and a custom cabinet?
It's more of the modifications that are available more than anything, because some semi-custom cabinet lines will do some modifications, but they're not going to do it like a custom cabinet would. Even some different lines are still doing all plywood sides, that kind of stuff. They're inserting different things or making things. But the difference to me between a custom cabinet and a semi-custom cabinet is really just what you can do with it.
Yeah.
Now everybody's got 10-foot ceilings and they want to go 114 with cabinets and, just different stuff like that. But I still feel like there's some semi-lines out there that are kind of trying to appease custom. Because, in a world where everything just keeps going up, and this being one of the biggest numbers in the house, it's like, I want it to look good, but I don't want to pay a fortune for it. Right. And there's a lot of opportunity for it to look good without paying a fortune for it.
Yeah, I could see that. I would think that, I think about standard cabinet as, like you were talking about the hardware, it's got the white rails with the little wheels on it.
Glides,
you have to, if you want to take the drawer out, you have to pick the front of it up to get it to hop over the little hump there. And it's just not, it's not good. The back of the rail is fastened to there with just a plastic pin, no metal screws, no, you can get soft close in just about anything, but it's also about the size, right? Mm-hmm. It comes in a standard 24, 18, 6. It's just a standard size and that's it. Yeah. And then the same thing with the height. A standard cabinet would be a 36,
34 and a half,
30,
and then with your countertop,
36, 42. And then when you do a custom cabinet, we can build those things,
32
39.
Yep.
Yeah, 32 and a half. Same thing with the width of it on the base cabinet.
Extended style, so you don't have to have a filler. Yeah.
And so when I think about custom cabinets, so you said semi-custom, and that's the word that just pisses me off to no end, because when builders talk about like, well, we're semi-custom, I'm like, either you are or you aren't. Don't tell me this. You're either production or you're custom.
Right.
And
totally.
But the semi-custom, I think you're talking more to the company that's building the cabinet, and they will make some modifications, but they're not going to make a custom cabinet. And a standard cabinet is, you're going to get cherry, you're going to get maple, you're going to get oak.
Right. You're going to get 3 colors and 2 species.
You're going to get raised panel, flat panel.
Right.
And you're going to get 2 different types of drawer heads.
And you're getting a little wheel with the hump.
With a little wheel with the hump. That's good. That's a good way to describe it. But so on back to these custom cabinets. I've seen so many different things and seen so many people pick apart what custom means. We've got a dude, and I'm not going to name any names. That there's people who build, like, they're whittling wood in a shop and they're making cabinets.
Right.
And I'm like, this is custom.
Right.
This is really custom. Now, you and I and our entire company went down to Mauser down in Kentucky, and what an operation.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yes.
Operation. And they are literally taking anything that you tell them, and they're building it on a mass production scale.
Correct.
And they're coloring it, and they're doing different things like that. That's custom. Where you can say, I want this color green, that picked out from a manufacturer. That's not necessarily custom. It's semi-custom because the base doesn't do that.
Correct.
Am I just talking in circles here?
No,
I feel like I'm just rambling on.
That is very true.
Like I might be getting hungry and I just need some lunch or something like that. I just keep talking, but I didn't realize how difficult, how important. I did realize this. I guess I should say, but never realized the options on the hardware. Yeah. So you're talking about, when you talk about hardware, you're talking about hinges and door glides, right?
Correct.
And how important is that? And what's the best and what's the worst? And
I mean, almost everybody uses a Blum tandem drawer glide and the Blum soft close hinges. I mean, they're just known throughout the industry. There's other ones out there, but I just feel like the Blum are the easiest ones to adjust because you're always going to be adjusting your cabinet hinges to adjust your doors. They get out of whack sometimes, but mostly it's the Blum is that what everybody uses.
I think that's one of the most difficult parts to explain to a homeowner is you might need to adjust your doors. And they hate it because they'll come in and something will be off and they'll call me and be like, these cabinets are garbage. They're all the doors are out of adjustment. And I'm like, well, I thought we did a good job of explaining to you that your house is moving on a daily basis. All the things we do to this house is about the shear of it, not about the point load of it. And these, I mean, it's about the point load, don't get me wrong. Right. But I mean, the house is moving all the time. So that adjusts things. That's why we make these hinges with 4 different screws on them to where you can pull it in, pull it out, raise it up, pull it down, whatever you got to do.
Totally. And if you have different humidifier levels in the house and it changes.
Changes everything.
Like everything, yeah.
I mean, so
that's when you got a wood cabinet. It's moving. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, it's real wood.
It's real wood. I
mean, it's not manufactured wood, and I think people don't understand that. I think that when you're talking about the Blum hardware, it's mounted on the bottom, and so you have to reach underneath it and squeeze something to pull it off of there. It's soft close. It's wide. It's mounted to the bottom. It's mounted to the back with screws. And these are things that are just so stupid. I think when people come to us to build this house, they would assume these things, right?
Right.
And you have to mount the back of it to the screws and so it doesn't move around.
Right.
All of these things are made for adjustment though, right?
All of them, yes.
So if a homeowner is looking at this stuff and things are moving and things are jumping around, it's because we made it that way.
Right.
And not burning down.
I understand sometimes, and most manufacturers are great about replacing doors that maybe get a warp on them at the top because, again, 10-foot ceilings, 60-inch wall cabinets, it's like remember when the front doors came out that were huge and everybody would be like, well, when the wind blows, the top flaps around.
Yeah.
Well, we just got figured out. So now it's just, and they're starting to put more hinges in a 60-inch tall door, to kind of help with that. But everything is fixable.
And you talk about, I mean, I feel like I'm just getting all these questions out that I have, these topics that I want to talk about just right now. And then we'll go back to a script. Yeah. But one of the differences on the standard stuff versus the custom stuff is the lengths of material that you can get. And we're just talking about this different hardware and talking about things, but like crown mold would only come in 9 feet for some reason.
Yeah, 8 foot is standard.
Yeah, 8 foot. And then if you want anything else, then you had to piece it on. So we'd come into a kitchen and you'd have a full run and you'd have a 1 foot piece, which is, again, comes back to the stupid carpenter. But now we can get all kinds of things, different sizes, different lengths, different colors, and all that. And
they'll go up to 16 foot.
Yeah.
And a custom cabinet line. My semi-custom lines are still like, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Which is really
But as a designer, I do think about those things sometimes because I know with some of these finishes, maybe I should just bump that cabinet out 3 inches so that there is going to be a seam because we got 14-foot run of cabinets.
Good point.
So you do kind of know that we don't want to end up right there.
That's a really good point.
Yes.
So that's a good segue. Let's talk about your design process. Okay. So we've got a customer, and we call you up, and first of all, we send you the bid. You've already seen the plans. Now you're getting ready to meet with them to do their selections. Take us from there. What's your process?
First thing I would love for them to come up with is their appliances, because I basically just put everything around the things that they use, and I'm just holding the things that they need for them to use that thing. But it starts off with where are your designs, things I've learned over the years. I'm not going to put a refrigerator right next to an oven cabinet because the handle's going to dent the stainless steel refrigerator, just different things like that. Or I'm going to center something up on a hood that might not be centered on the plan or how they had it before or whatever. So it's just kind of talking through how they're going to use it, who uses it the most, first of all. And then, a lot of times I hope they're just going to look at me and like, you do your thing because you've been doing this a long time, but they definitely have strong opinions sometimes. And I just got to take those into consideration and kindly tell them why maybe I would do it something different.
Yeah.
So, it's a very open conversation because you guys usually have your designer helping as well. So we have lots of opinions and lots of ideas.
So you started that conversation out with you're going to hold the thing and they're going to bring the thing, and I mean you're talking about the appliance, and so what you mean by that is if they've got a 60-inch range, 48-inch range, they've got a cooktop, a hood, you're looking at that stuff, and your cabinets are basically creating an envelope for whatever that is.
Correct.
Microwave, dishwasher, all of these different things. How important is it to? I mean, if somebody didn't have a designer and they came to you, do you think the designers help, or some of them are just in a way, or what? How well do you work with that?
I've always said that, I'm very spatially, I'm very organized. I understand all of that stuff. Sometimes I think a designer helps when it comes to pick and tile or paint colors. I don't want to put anybody down, but sometimes I feel like kind of let this person do this. But if they have a relationship with the client and have, repeat business or whatever per se, they do know a lot more about them, of what they would like and what they wouldn't like. So sometimes it helps, but sometimes it's just kind of like, well, now we just got this third opinion that,
Right. I think some of them can be really good. Like when Kelly that works with us, and when she looks at things, she can draw a cabinet or say this has worked because she's got the experience to do it. But she also can look at the colors and say this is going to be really cool. This is going to be really neat. But you definitely are looking at this going, here's the layout. Here's what we need for these cabinets. Here's what we're put
Don't get me wrong. I can do colors. I can do all that stuff.
I know you can. I know you can. So what about like how are you learning things? Because a lot of times we're learning things through our customer, and so this whole thing, it's always been something there, but it's been mostly in great big mansions and things. But how do you adjust to where somebody like we're doing these back kitchens and we're doing these huge pantries, and now it's like a second kitchen, and we're doing sculleries and we're doing these things. Are you like, have you always been in tune with that, or are people coming in? You get one person that comes in and they're like, "Hey, we want to do this in our pantry," and then you get another person that comes in, and next thing you know, you're like, "Everybody's doing this."
Yeah.
How are you? I mean, is that how you keep up with it? Are you reading magazines? You going to shows? You have like a social media?
I feel like because I'm always doing something different. I feel like a lot of different customers throw a lot of different things at you. I'm always looking at pictures online and stuff like that. Like, oh, I'm going to save that one because that's kind of cool. It's a little different. Sometimes it feels like it gets repetitive.
Yeah.
And you don't want anybody to feel like, oh, I've done that a million times. It's like, oh, this is great. We're going to do this. You know, you want them to feel like it's their project and it's a new idea. But sometimes it is past ideas.
Yeah.
But I feel like, a remodel I did almost 12 years ago was the Marge Shop Mansion, and they had 2 kitchens. So it's not anything different.
Right.
I feel like it's cool. I love the fact that people are doing these nice big dirty kitchens or walk-in pantries. I love it.
I think as a builder, I have the tendency, or used to have the tendency anyway, to be like, you get a little bit of confidence or ego to you to say, well, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. And now I feel like I'm sitting back going, hey, if the customer wants to do this, this is really cool. Let's see what they've got to offer. Right. Let's see what they're going to want to do. And especially in these really, really big houses, man, you get to do so many cool things.
Well, I would rather somebody tell me, okay, what all do you want?
Yeah.
And then give me a price.
Yeah.
And then if I get that price and I go, oh, what can you do without kind of thing, instead of limiting you to, are you sure you really want to do all those cabinets in your pantry? I would rather just say, well, what's it going to cost me?
Yeah. And now it's so that's one other thing. And as you go from kitchen to pantry to back kitchen to scullery, and now one of the things we do with you a lot is you're doing all of our built-ins.
Right.
And that's mostly comes from me because I want our built-ins to look like furniture.
Totally.
And I want them, which is a cabinet. And what was happening to us is we were building built-ins. Everybody's like, oh, you got to have built-ins everywhere. And we were building these built-ins, but then we were painting them with an enamel. And then it was like, it wasn't holding up, for one. It wasn't looking good. It wasn't performing like a cabinet. And I don't know if that's just me or what, but I want it to be, I want it to have that shellac finish on it, and I want it to look slick,
Yeah. Well, and a job site's not a clean place. So if you're trying to paint something on a job site sometimes. It's hard.
Yeah, it doesn't come out of an airless sprayer spraying an enamel as well as it does coming out of a machine that's in the factory that's spraying a shellac lacquer, oil.
It's got all the right ventilation and everything going on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a factory finish. It's like a Mako paint or a factory paint.
Exactly. I have a cousin that paints cars, and I have a cousin that paints houses. And the cousin that paints houses, you do not want him painting your cars. For
Can
sure.
it go the other way?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you want either one of them crossing paths. What my point now was, we are doing so many other things, and you talked about appliances, but almost everywhere, every room in the house, when you're going to an entertainment area, when you're going, even in some of the bedrooms, but you go outside and we have a grill area, and you've supplied the countertop and have done all kinds of work around that grill area. You go down the basement and we have a bar, and you've supplied everything. You've designed almost all of that stuff down there, and you've got countertops and all those things. That's a whole nother area. You go into the mud room and you've got a mud bench, and you go into the great room and you have built-ins on each side of the fireplace. Yep. You are in almost every room of the house. How do you keep up with all those kind of things?
Just throwing out ideas, and I've done bedroom nightstands, coming around the corners and storage in a bedroom with a desk and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's just all in keeping up with the trends of those, looking at them online. I feel like I've always just kind of had that knack for, because if I had a dream job, I would be a professional organizer.
Nice.
I know.
You know what? Down at Drake, I walked in there one day and there was these women all walking around in there, and they're all sitting there looking at different things. And I was like, "Can I help you guys?" And they're like, "We're the organizers." I'm like, "You're the what?" And she goes, "Yeah, they're paying us to organize everything in this house." I'm like,
so
"Really?"
I could do that.
They're and we're getting ready to build a house for a lady who's a professional organizer.
Really?
I'm with you. I think my wife would do the same thing. She would love it.
Oh, I walk into people's houses, like remodels, and their pantry, and they're like, "We just don't know how to use this pantry." I'm like, "Give me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I will fix this for you right now."
Shannon will fire me and the kids every single night, every time we load a dishwasher, because she thinks that there needs to be a standard class on how to load a dishwasher. Oh. Yes, this is
dream jobs.
This is my yes. We could do that. So another thing that I was thinking about is when we made the change, the big transition from stained cabinets to painted cabinets, and so it used to be species of wood and then whatever color you would get, and it was. I hated it. I hated it because it was never consistent. It was
hard to fix.
You can't get doors that wide with one single slab of wood, so it turns into slats. Cherry was the worst, and so now we went to this color. I love these colored cabinets, but when does the white cabinet go out of stock?
Never.
Yeah.
The very, very, very first kitchen I did in 1996, even though it was thermofoil, but it was white. And I just feel like white is timeless. It really is. You can bring other colors around, and everybody is kind of getting away from the gray and going back to some warm colors. So they're maybe doing white and they're throwing in some, driftwood or vintage natural kind of colors to go with it to get that little bit of warmth in it. Even countertops are coming out now with warmth in them instead of just gray and white. So I feel like, everything goes around and comes around, but I just feel like white is timeless. It's never going to go out of style. There's 642 shades of white, that people can pick from. So I think that's just, it's forever.
I agree. My mom and dad's house in 96, I guess it was 97, had that thermofoil white cabinet in it.
Yep.
And so much. I again talk to people and they're like, "I'm so sick of white cabinets," and then they pick a white cabinet, and you don't realize how many different shades of white there are.
Change things around them.
Yeah,
you can change your paint color. You can change your tile.
You can always do different things, but I think the painted cabinets are really cool. The disappointing part of the painted cabinet is getting the cabinets mended together and not being able to caulk them, and so that's really, really difficult.
It is
to explain to a homeowner that you're going to see different things there, and if they don't want us to use different other things to cover it up, and maybe that's just a.
Well, then there's those challenges of stains, because the stains. It's so funny because people don't realize when they're looking at an 18 by 18 sample, and you see some variation at one, and you get it on a big wall. That's when you find out that people don't like variation.
Right.
And you try to tell them that's the beauty of wood. It's look at your floors, it's varying, but you don't find it out usually until the kitchen's in, and it's just like. Well,
Again, I think you go back to the cabinetry being a piece of furniture, and I think people have that expectation of consistency and perfection when it comes to these things. And yeah, that's a whole nother subject. Would be when we talk about countertops, and you talked about the job site a minute ago, is that when are these cabinet manufacturers going to come out? And I asked the window manufacturers the same thing. When are you going to come out with a protective material to put on these cabinets? Because it's like we said, one of the single most expensive parts of the job. We put them in the house, and then all these guys walk around out there like they're a garbage can. Like there's who gives a So we have a cover and a protect phase in our build schedule where we have just hundreds of moving blankets. The countertops are covered, everything's covered, and the first thing somebody does when they walk in there, it's like a little kid. Yeah. It's like, oh, I should pull this off of here because somebody covered it up. I would love to see cabinet manufacturers come out with something that's a protective coat on these cabinets so we can take it off when we're done.
Well, and Kith tried that for a little bit, but with the painted cabinets, and sometimes your change in temperature from going from a cabinet plant to a truck to a warehouse somewhere, you would pull this film off that they put on it, and sometimes the finish would come with it. So it's a tough one. Like I have an Amish line Dutch cabinetry. They wrap them in a black, like puppy paper kind of thing. And it's kind of nice because they just wrap them. But you kind of got to, unwrap it to install it. Yeah. And then wrap it back up. But if there were a face protector for them, you're right. That would be amazing because hammers, everybody. And it's I try and tell my guys all the time that even the gravel that we're putting on the ground is a finished product for that whatever purpose it's serving. The footer in the dirt in the ground is a finished product, and so whoever put it in there probably had some of those guys have a little bit of pride in what they do. But it is a finished product, so now you've got it in place. It's a tool that we've used to build this house. You have to protect it, and it's the same thing all the way through the job. And I think when you get on a job site, sometimes people forget about those things. The cabinets are so important to cover up and protect, and the same thing with the countertops when they put in there. I want to go back to the countertops again. We touched on it briefly, but again, it's the prep work. We went from the kind of putting it in and covering it, but the prep work that it takes to get here. Let's talk about your designs and the computer design that you use in order to get there. That's so important for us. And then the other thing, and I don't want to say this, I'm like just telling your story while you're sitting here looking at me. I'm just like what?
You're designing. So our customers come down to you. You've already had the plans. You've already done a design on the computer, and whatever your system may be, 2020 or whatever it is. And so then you're meeting with the customer and saying, here's the size of your cabinets, and here's the views of those. You've done a lot of prep work to get to that point, right? So what's that process like? Because you haven't met with a customer at that point, probably, and you're running off of our plans, and you're using some of what what your ideas are, and then you present it to the customer. What's that process?
I mean, I always do look at an island first thing just to make sure that it's not huge. We still got to have guys carry it in. Most people don't want seams right in the middle of their island, especially if they have an overhang. So I will change that up. I still use the blueprint of the blueprint, I guess you could say, but I might move some things around. I feel like mine is more balanced, functional kind of thing. But, when I sit down to design a kitchen, I don't always know what their budget is, but I can design the crap out of it, But, to be fair, when I start off with, giving you guys per se a kind of what's this going to cost me in two different lines. Yeah. I'm very cautious of, everything lining up, but still giving them functional things, cutlery divider, double trash, certain things like that. But I do look to make sure where is there going to be a seam. Sometimes people send you over a vanity that is just so long, and you're like, well, what if we put some pantry cabinets on the end to keep the seam out of there? I mean, architects sometimes are so funny because they'll do a 98-inch long vanity wall to wall. I'm like, do they understand toe kit comes 96? It's just like one of those things that I do think about it. That I try and offer up.
I guess and now that I'm listening to you talking, I don't realize what a challenge that is for you, because I'm going and looking at this plan, and I've met with the customers. We've been designing this plan. We've been talking about these things, and I'm simply going like this and hitting a button. And I'm emailing it to you, going, hey,
Yeah.
Here's a number that we came up with. Here's the plans, and go to town. And come up with something great. And if you don't, I'm not going to use you.
Back to the rolling thing on the track.
I'm just kidding. So I mean, that's really. I mean, so you're sitting down and you're going into it blind, and you're like, man, what if I do this? But if I don't do this, what if I do this? And I can't put too much in there. I don't know what these people are going to pick. What if? And 9 times out of 10, you've got the layout pretty well done, but it's everything else gets changed. So now you've got your product you put out there, and you're like, this is what I was going to do, and then it all comes in and changes. So the other thing I was thinking,
I do try to tell them when they come in, this is basically kind of where your price is budgeted.
Yeah,
you can make changes all you want, but just know that this will get you exactly what you see here.
Yeah. So you're doing the design and the prep work. You're meeting with the customer. You're redesigning. You're showing them all kinds of samples. You're taking them through. You're looking at probably inspiration pictures. Hopefully, it's not on a look what I did Instagram or Pinterest picture.
I don't show people I did this before.
Look what I did. Exactly. Like those people. No, I'm talking about the people come to you and they're like, look what I saw on Pinterest. This lady did this in her closet in Minnesota.
But sometimes that does help because I kid you not. People think that you instantly know what their taste is when they walk in, and if you just came from the gym or pickleball and you got your sweats on or whatever, and I'm looking at you going, you're pretty casual, but you could be a Tiffany. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know unless they start going. And after about 10 pictures, you can kind of pick up on what somebody's taste is or what makes them go,
isn't that funny?
Yeah.
There's big production builders out there who, the majority of their sales are not product, but psychological. So they've got a list of questions that they ask the customers when they walk in the door. And it could be questions like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite flower? And then they're made to look and see what kind of car they drive. And there's like a couple other, and then they can narrow it down, like where they're headed. And I'm like, it's so wicked.
Back in the day, it used to be, we're going to put 4 chairs out in the showroom, and you would determine what a person's taste was by which chair they sat
in.
I kid you not. Yeah.
Nice.
I know. So there is something to be said about some of that stuff, but I still feel like that not everybody's the same, even though stuff they like could be different from what they really are. You just got to kind of feel them out.
And I don't think that they know. You know, I mean, I think that I know a lot of times, and then I'll see something and I'll be like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. We've challenged everybody in our company to come up with ideas and take pictures of stuff. Alicia and I were touring a house one day looking at something, and we're looking at, I think we were looking at some trim details that a guy was doing up there. And we found some flooring that we liked, and then we found a stone that we liked, and I'm like, I'm gonna take pictures of it. This is inspiration, and I want everybody to be able to look at that and do that. One, it keeps them focused on the job, and for two, it just brings back ideas so we can put it in the book and say,
well, it's all those little things to me that make the difference than just the big thing. I mean, the big thing is the wow thing, but it's all those other little details to me that make it special.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. So the other thing I was thinking about was the prep work that goes into the countertop. And so everything, we've talked about this, but we need a list. We need a checklist to say, here's everything that needs to be in place before you guys come out there, because that whole part of it is as detailed, if not more, than the guys installing it. So it's the same thing with painting. It's the same thing with everything else we're doing, building this house. Everything we do in preparation for it is so important. So now it's not just, I remember back in the day, these guys used to come out with a piece of cardboard.
Yep, spray glue.
Yep, they would just cut it out perfectly around the cabinet, and then they would take all those pieces of cardboard back, and that's what they made the countertop off of, no matter what it was made out of. And now they have lasers. They have all these laser levels. They have all these different tools that are using high-end tools. What can you explain a little bit of like that stuff to me?
As far as
like, what are these tools doing, and what I mean, how expensive
they're checking
are
for
they?
Plumb and level of it. They're still getting the measurements of the. I don't know if you've been out on a measure yet, where they stick the little pins on the corners. I mean, and we're actually in the midst of even getting a newer technology kind of measuring tool that's going to be amazing, that just scans the room.
Nice.
And it's going to be able to tell us all kinds of stuff, like commercial projects, different, there's just different things, but I'm not well versed enough in the fact. I've stood there and watched them a ton of times, but it's very technical. There's no need for end splashes or even back splashes sometimes, because they can get that laser right to the wall, and we can cut that piece like perfectly to fit in there.
Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So is it, and I mean, you bring up a good point too. I mean, we're not doing a whole lot of, we're doing full height backsplashes with the countertops.
Correct.
And that's what you were talking about, was that takes so much time and prep work when these guys are coming out to lay it out, because the seams have to match and all the fissures have to match, and everything that's in the slab has to match up to make it look like a waterfall, so to speak.
So when we do a full height splash and we come out and measure, the first time we're going to measure the deck, we're going to get a rough measurement on your full height splash, because we're going to cut them all together. We're going to overcut these a little bit, and then once we set the deck, we remeasure and cut them to height, but then they're all out of the same slab, where the vein kind of follows it up the wall. It's not like you can decide later, hey, I want splashes, because then we may have to come back and take a piece of slab and throw 90% of it away to cut that splash to have it match up with what you have on site already. So it's knowing all those things up front. Like, are you thinking about it? You need to think about it now.
I think we're talking about all the things that get me excited that nobody else cares about. I know you get excited about it too, but I'm like, this is probably not the details. So let's talk about trends. Let's talk about some of the people who are going to be like, oh, that's cool. What are the trends right now in cabinetry design, colors, finishes, all those kind of things? What's hot?
I mean, I still think the white is good and it's going to be forever. I do see more of the warm colors coming in, and some people are going back to the stains. I mean, they're bringing in the color that way. All the what I call whirligigs all the time on the insides of the cabinet that just make life great. If there's a place for something, you're always going to put it in its place.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the insert stuff.
Rev-A-Shelf is like the dream.
Rev-A-Shelf now has the paper towel pull out for the island that took forever, because you'd have this big ugly thing of paper towels sitting on your island, and everybody has a sink in their island.
I built a house for a guy that his grandpa invented the popcorn machine, and it's Gold Medal products.
Oh, okay.
And they have a catalog that they send out every year, and I'm like, oh, this is so cool. A nacho machine, and I mean, it was so cool. So I feel like I was Rev-A-Shelf. Like, if you're a complete nerd about that stuff, like I am, you get that Rev-A-Shelf book, and you're like, I can't believe they made this. They made this for me.
Yeah, when I'm sitting with your customers, it's so funny, because they'll go, oh, can I get a copy of that book?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
They've got everything I love in here.
It is. And I'm one of those people. There are 7 things probably in that book that I'm like, you have to have.
Yeah.
But there are some things that you're just like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
But I think that, like, when you're talking about the trends and you're talking about these inserts and things that you're doing, it's not just about you don't just have a 36-inch wide cabinet. I mean, you have a cabinet specifically for what you're going to use it in our houses anyway, because our houses typically aren't the first house that somebody's ever lived in.
Right.
Our houses are the move up or the final house or whatever. So they've had experience in where they've lived at and the things they want. And now it's like, all right, well, I need a drawer for this. I need a closet for this. So I mean, that's probably a really trendy.
I need a whole pantry for my countertop appliances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, putting all the small appliances away, you can't have everything on the countertop. So what about colors? And you were talking about colors and finishes and mixing paint with the stain. It's not stain like cherry stain.
No.
And it's more like this, whatever. I mean, it's really funky, right?
Yeah, like a brushed finish over a standard stain. They're not really glazing anymore. So now it's more of the brush strokes that you would see as a glaze. They call it a brushed glaze. That kind of just tones the whole cabinet down. It gives it a little bit more of a matte finish, which is kind of furniture, because there's nothing worse than a shiny cherry red cabinet.
Yeah.
It is like, oh my God.
Like the old Bruce hardwood floors.
Exactly. Or even when they tried to make maple look like cherry.
What you remember pickled oak?
Oh yeah.
So that reminds me, that some of that oak that we're using right now that looks like some kind of like river wood or something like that. Yeah. I mean, it's that reminds me of that pickled oak.
Oh, and the cabinet manufacturers call it coastal contemporary.
Right. You call it whatever you want.
I know it's still ugly. Now don't get me wrong. I love white oak and quarter sawn oak and some of the grains that come in those, but just that old red oak.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm good.
What about the trends in the countertops? We just talked a little bit about the backsplashes being a big trend. What's in the big island, but the countertop itself, what's the trend there?
Color wise or material wise?
You tell me, man. You're the expert.
Well, I mean, I feel like quartzite, which is a natural product like granite, is becoming very popular in the fact that they are just different. They are different from granite that has like those speckly finishes, where quartzite is more those veiny, finishes like
the
quartz.
quartzite is an actual rock also, right?
Correct.
It's
yes.
not a man-made product like quartz.
Correct.
Not to be confused.
Not to be confused. Exactly. And you have to remind people a few times, but they're coming out with some just really cool designs. There's something that, are more of a wow factor. Not so many people are doing it in their kitchen, but like a bar or a built-in or something like that. They're just really pretty.
Yeah.
Quartzite's harder to take care of because it's a stone. And when we cut it on the saw, since we do all of our water stuff, it does soak up the water and take some time to dry. But I mean, I feel like quartz is still the most popular, just in the fact of repeat patterns, same background color, different things like that. But
what about the edge profile? I mean, is that still something that's big?
I feel like it is not as big as it used to be. I feel like just everybody wants simple. So they just want that standard eased edge, and they don't want to route different edges on them. I mean, sometimes you'll get somebody in a powder room that wants to put a little bit fancier edge, but not so much on the islands anymore. I feel like they're just kind of keeping it more streamlined, a little simple.
What about the thick, like it makes the edge look like it's 3 inch?
Mitered edge.
Yeah.
Do that a lot in powder rooms and stuff like that. It's hard to do in kitchens on an island because of the sink sometimes.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing a range, you can't really make your countertops taller unless you make all your cabinets taller. So I feel like it's, you're doing those mitered edges in bathrooms a lot. Full height splashes in powder rooms too that you can kind of lean the mirror on with a little ledge. Decorative splashes going up to the hood sometimes instead of just full height. We might put a bevel on them but we are starting pretty soon in the showroom. We're going to have a whole reeded piece of quartz on the back of one of our islands with the reeds in it. Man, it's going to be sharp. And then we thicken the edges and mitered them back in. It's going to look really sharp.
That's amazing what those, because I mean, if you've never been to a shop where they have tables where they're cutting this stuff at, and you can see all the things that are happening. I mean, just the perfection of this stuff is just amazing what they can do, cutting it and fitting it and putting things in. So
we just put a whole room in to keep all of our bits in.
Yeah, well,
got bits room.
So let's talk about what's the most difficult part about the cabinet business besides customers.
Well,
and I'm a customer. So.
My biggest thing is I don't make them, I don't paint them, I don't pack them, and I don't ship them, and I don't deliver them. So it is sometimes hard when people get things and it's just destroyed, and it's one of those things that I feel so bad because it's just like, how did the design work out good? But it's like I didn't have any part in the whole process of getting it to, end user. But you partner up with good people and they're going to take care of it and stuff like that. But that's probably one of the biggest things that is just like, ugh.
I had a guy tell me years ago, say, hey, cheap cabinets come in boxes and good cabinets come wrapped up in like cellophane. And
it's so funny because some of my cabinet manufacturers say the exact same thing. Some will put them in a box and some won't because they say, and it's very true, you don't know what's in that box.
Yeah.
So if I just wrap it, then they're going to know that that's a piece of furniture and they shouldn't just roll it down the hill. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I agree with that one.
Yeah, I kind of do too. I think that when even on the farm or in the building business, when you're moving things multiple times, when you're handling things multiple times, it affects the product.
Oh yeah.
And so we're trying to, with these cabinets, and of course, every cabinet company in the world says, we send out 3 guys to load this. We send out 3 guys. We were touring a place one time, and the guy's like, every truck's got 3 guys on it. And we were walking by the loading dock, and there's one guy in there taking these cabinets and just whipping them up into the truck and by himself and chucking them up in there. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. This is where the problem starts.
It starts here.
But I think with anything, we expect this on the job, to have things like this happen. All we want to know is it's going to be taken care of.
Totally.
Without any shit. I mean, I don't want somebody coming back and going, well, I don't want you to go to page 45 of your excuse book and tell me why that happened. I don't care.
Right.
And I tell all my guys out in the field and do the same thing. I'm going to take a selfie of my face when I don't give a shit. And I'm going to say, you can't see me right now, but I don't care.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send you this picture.
I'm with you. I told you that. I want to make it easy.
Yeah.
If you have a problem, call me.
Yeah.
Now, I have also said to trim carpenters, if you cut it wrong, just let me know.
Yeah.
And I will do whatever I can to get it replaced at no charge. But don't lie to me and say, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
and you find it in the dumpster, like.
Don't be standing out in the garage on your 15th union break, smoking a cigarette, standing on top of the trim going, we ain't got it.
I know.
So that's a problem. I hope I hope our guys don't listen to this podcast because they're going to be really upset with you and me.
Well, I was just saying
They're going to be mad.
It's a partnership. It really is. Like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. It's not always going to be perfect, but as long as we're honest with each other.
Yeah. Our guy, I should clarify this. Our guys do a really good job. Mm-hmm. They do the best that they can in anything. When you think about coming out and setting a cabinet in the kitchen, it's not like you just take it and you set it in place and you screw it to the wall and you move on to the next cabinet. I mean, it's just like these countertops and the preparation work that goes with this. Same thing with this. It's just so many different things that go into it, and the conditions that they're working on trying to get to that point. It makes it difficult.
It does, and there's so many different types of trim, and how do I use this trim, and where do I use this trim, and the customer wanted it to look like this, but there is a lot. There's a lot.
Why would somebody come to you, Pam Carr, at KBR, to buy cabinets, to buy countertops? Because what's the most important thing that people need to know? I
just feel like I get it. I've been in this business a long time. I've seen a lot of different things, and you want to make everybody happy. And I know you can't make everybody happy, but I am all about just trying my hardest to make you happy. If I had one complaint, it is that people take on things, that they don't have time for, and they don't understand costs of different things. They didn't do their homework. They didn't Google their builder. I think there's a lot of things when somebody comes into you that if they don't know it, am I going to tell them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I have to educate people, and I know that's what I'm there for, but just on some, like you say, common sense things, that this is going to take a long time.
Yeah.
Any project, any rehab, any new build, and you have to make time for it. You can't expect people to always be available on the times that you're not working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it is a project. And a lot of times it just gets to be hard when there's a lot of different changes, and sometimes they text you and sometimes they email you, and or you say something on the phone and like, hey, can we put that in writing? Or you know what I'm saying? It's a project. It's a lot. There's a lot of people working on it, and I just want people I want to make it easy.
Yeah.
If I can't give somebody an answer, I'm going to find out and let them know. And whether it be a homeowner or whether it be a trim carpenter or whether it be you, I want to get you an answer.
Will you work with just anybody, or do you want to work with specifically builders or walk-ins?
I have worked with, we are not retail.
Okay.
So we don't have a retail showroom down at KBR. We are more word of mouth. We deal with a lot of K&B dealers, different things like that. And I'm just kind of always done the relationships of the people that I've known for a long time. I have a lot of retail customers that I've worked with. I've done 6 houses for some people. It's just over time you build that relationship, and you just feel like they trust you. I know a first timer is like, ooh, I don't know if she knows what she's doing, but after the first time, then it's kind of like, okay, she might know a little bit.
Yeah. I think that's a challenge for everybody when you get started into this building process. Can I say this because I stand in Homerama year after year talking to people, and I'll ask them about their house or what they're, we built a house. I was like, oh man, who was your builder? And they were just like, they hate their builder, or they, same thing, our cabinet person did do this. And you hear these constant negative comments coming at you. When I go to meet with somebody for the first time, it's almost like you have to make sure that they realize, hey, we're the real deal. Mm-hmm. We're not whatever you've experienced in the past. Right. We're not your neighbor's builder. We're not your neighbor's cabinet supplier. We're the ones that are going to take care of you. Mm-hmm. We're the end all be all right here because we're the real deal. That's so hard to get that fence down with people and making sure they're the
end of it. And when you can say, is there anything that you want to ask me?
Right.
It's just like they don't really have a lot of questions. And I'm like, boy, I would have all kinds of questions.
Yeah. Just listen to them. What advice would you give somebody? Because you talked about this a little bit. I mean, time, passion, and money is what we want from our customers. And I think you want the same thing. And that time is more of their personal devotion to the project. Correct. Not how long is it going to take you to build this house, or how long is it going to take you to get this back to me? What kind of time do you have to dedicate to the project? But what for someone starting out in a custom journey, what advice would you give them for their cabinetry?
Oh, for their cabinet.
Yeah, not. I don't want you to talk. I don't want you to comment on their foundation.
How much time you got? I have always said that you don't have to spend a fortune on cabinets. You want them to function well. You want the design to work out very well. You want them to look good. But it's not like you have to come in and go, I just want your most expensive thing, thinking that you're going to get my best thing, because that's not always the case. It's more about the function and the design of it instead of what the sides are made of, what the interior of it's made of. You want it to work for you. So, I mean, I'm all about that. I don't necessarily always shop out of my purse, but I'm just saying that I want people to understand that it doesn't have to be the highest price.
Yeah.
For it to be the best.
Well, I think the most difficult part, what you're saying is that I've seen this in our business, is I don't want to get the same product and pay 60% more for it somewhere else.
Correct.
I mean, I was using a terrible cabinet, not a terrible cabinet, a mediocre to less cabinet. And I'm like, we need something better. Mm-hmm. And we need something better. And we would go looking somewhere else and we're like, oh, well, let's go with this one. Well, it's 30% higher. It's the same cabinet. It's not that much different. I want different functions. I want better quality. I want better service. And I think the cabinet is one part of it, but what you do is more important. It's the person designing it. It's the person ordering it. It's the person getting the stuff to the job site.
Correct.
And when you experience a horrible sales rep, a horrible cabinet designer who can't figure out how to get things to the job, who forgot half the shit that you need, it's going to be miserable.
It is.
And I've been doing this my whole life.
Holds everything else.
It holds everything else up. Yep. And now we're mad.
And I'm all about, I want it all there because, I want, even if I order the entire house at one time, I'm putting on each room on its own order. So when it comes, they know exactly where it goes and they don't have a pile of cabinets that just have one PO number on them. You know what I'm saying? Like I try to think of the guys unloading them. I always try and think of the trim carpenters, like what's going to make this a better install as opposed to sometimes what's going to save some money, because it's kind of like the quicker that goes along, then, countertops can be measured and it just keeps moving. Yeah. But if you have a ton of problems that kind of stop you right at cabinets and you're getting to that finish line, it's just like,
yeah. And I'll say that too. When we're talking about our trim carpenters and the attitude of them, it has to do with, is everything there? Is the material there? Because when they get into it and they're firing off and they're going through it and then you can't move forward because of this, they had specific guys there to set those cabinets. Not every trim carpenter does not do every aspect of the house, and they've got guys there and now they can't keep moving forward.
That's why I always said, if you get to the job and the lazy Susan was back ordered, you might as well just pack it up and go home, because it's just like,
exactly.
But I'm going to always order them early enough too, that I don't want, if there are back orders, because sometimes it does happen, because sometimes, they don't make the hood. They're just going to buy the hood from somebody and put their finish on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that you kind of got to take all that into consideration, because I'd rather him be sitting in my warehouse waiting on the trim carpenter than him ready for him. And I'm just like, oh shit, I got to order this.
I think today, from today's podcast, what I want people to understand is Pam Carr does a great job.
Thank you.
KBR does a fantastic job.
Yes.
That again, custom means custom.
Custom means
doesn't mean semi. It doesn't mean that you changed the size of an island and now you're custom. It means so many other details. And I think the other thing I want people to understand is the amount of detail that goes into the preparation of designing your kitchen, the knowledge of somebody like Pam that's and we're referring to Pam as in third person now.
Yes.
This is how big you've gotten since the WB download. So we're making sure that you have somebody who's designing the kitchen who has experience and understands every part and piece that goes into it, and also with the countertops, making sure that everybody understands the prep work, the things that are needed, and the selection and the details that go into it.
Yeah, so many different things.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
And
it's nice when you have somebody that kind of starts you at that cabinet phase and gets you all the way to the end of that countertop phase.
Right.
Because I understand if the shop has a question, I can answer it. If I got to call somebody else to get that answer, sometimes it's a little tough.
What you mean by that is KBR does both cabinets and countertops, and most cabinet shops you go to don't do their own countertops.
Correct.
And you have to go out somewhere else and find somebody else to do the cabinets, and now you start getting that finger pointing going on.
And
yeah. I mean, it's something else. So
it does help. It is nice to just walk out back and
How do people contact you? How do people get to KBR? What do you want people to know about KBR?
So like I said, we're not retail, but I am the cabinet person there. So they could always get a hold of me and I can walk them through any project. That's for sure. But they can't just walk in the front door and say, I want to talk to somebody about cabinets, unfortunately. But everybody works by appointment only these days.
Yeah.
Even my bank, I can't walk in unless I have an appointment.
I ain't gonna lie.
I know.
Man.
So it is, we're in Bond Hill, which I feel is very centrally located just based on, west side, northern Kentucky, east side, that's Bond Hill.
Then you go to KBR
MFG.com,
yes. Which is Kitchens by Rutenschroer.
Rutenschroer.
I was going to say Rutenauer. Yeah. Rutenschroer. That's the German part of me, the Rutenschroer. Yeah. Kitchens by Rutenschroer. And so they can go check it out online. You call Pam and check it out. So I would strongly encourage you to work with somebody like you who knows what they're doing.
Thank you.
And I just want to say thanks. Thanks for all the years of drinking beer together. Yeah, and exactly. Thanks for being able to work with us, being part of our team. And I said, I started this in the beginning. You're someone we trust. We're someone that when our customers come down to you, you're not just going, yep, I'm going to sell you a cabinet, move on. You're designing the house with them. You're designing the room with them. You're looking at light fixtures. You're looking at appliances. You're looking at sinks and faucets.
Cabinet hardware.
You're looking at flooring. Everything that goes on in that room, I'm not saying this is what every cabinet person does, but this is what Pam does. And this is what makes it special. And this is what keeps you going here. So thank you for being such a great person doing all that stuff. So this is Pam Carr here with KBR Manufacturing. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, there you have it, folks. Pam Carr, one of the greatest cabinet designers in the history of womankind and mankind, right here on the WB Download. Thank you so much, Pam, for taking time out of your busy day, coming in here, having a conversation with me and talking through it. I'm always, like I said, I wish that we would just I forget to do it. Keep the microphone on and we'll just keep on talking and keep on recording, because the conversation that we have after the conversation, we start talking about the podcast and we start hitting on other things. And I should have just kept on recording it because it's fun to listen to. Everybody gets so nervous coming in here to do this podcast. And I'm like, it is simply a conversation between you and me. And just difference is we're talking in a microphone that's got headphones on, but she did a great job. And I always enjoy our conversations because we go back a long way, a long way. And when we both have a connection with an old lumber company that my dad used when I was a kid. And then also with she worked there for the family that owned that lumber company. So it's always neat to reminisce and then trace back to, the last 35 years that we've known each other. She does a great job. She's part of this Wheeling Builders team. And as always, we're excited to work with her every single day. And thank you again for taking time out of your day to come in here. So anyway, hey, don't forget, everybody, thank you for listening to the WB Download. Don't forget, our next episode drops on the 4th Tuesday of August here. And I think that I need to come back and do an episode on what it takes to be a great customer, because after I did the episode about what it means to be a horrible customer, of course, the good customers, they worried that they're a horrible customer, and the horrible customer doesn't even acknowledge it, doesn't even realize that they're a horrible customer or an evil person at that. And so I got a kick out of some of the comments that I got from some people, and we were joking about it. And I thought, you know what, I probably should back up and go and talk about what it means to be a great customer in general. When I did that interview, before I did that, I interviewed friends of mine who have other businesses that are not building businesses. They're dealerships, they're different manufacturers, they're different things, and they all circled back to a number of common elements. And most of it comes down to honesty and communication. And so I think I'm going to do one on what it takes to be a good customer. Anyway, thanks again for being part of this download. This is we're going on our third or fourth year, and I'm still enjoying it. And I want to make sure that if anybody out there wants to join us here on the WB Download, shoot me an email, send me a text, give me a call. Love to have you on here. Love to have people hear what you have to say. And if you want to be part of this conversation, email me at wbdownload@wielandbuilders.com and check us out at wielandbuilders.com, WIELAND Builders. We've got a new page that Alicia and Leanne added to the website. It's got homes in progress on there, and we've got renderings and we've got some different pictures and stuff talking about and some floor plans that you can see what we have going on in the mix. So excited about everything we got. Thanks again, everybody. I'm Jeff Whelan here on the WB Download.